Actually, only 11 spots between them now in the world rankings. Good jump from Monfils last week. He's also back in the top 40, close to it. Mpetshi Perricard will begin. Better get used to that.
And you smile, don't you? Because Gael went back to give him some room. I'm not sure if that's going to be I would rather step up actually a little bit and not open the angles, but 191 out wide for his second serve.
Yeah, just to give you some numbers, we'll get them out of the way. Last year, he averaged 19 aces a match last year. Bearing in mind, of course, that he didn't actually play many majors, so you've got to consider those numbers are probably best of 3. Yeah, of course, he made last 16 at Wimbledon, but a lot of those were in the best of 3. And he actually only averaged 5 doubles a match on the flip side.
So Gael will just, he'll feel his way in as well. So
40
he'll end up working out on how he's going to try and return the serve. He'll see if he'll accept balls going past him. There's no doubt about that. Understand you're going to get aced quite a few times. He's got longer reach than most, Gael. Can he end up creating a bit of a read on his serve at all? Is there any variety in the ball toss heights when he goes middle or wide?
40, 50.
And this is what you'll actually end up waiting for, because there always is going to be a moment in a match where the first serve doesn't find its mark, and you've just got to stay present the whole way through that match, and then there'll be a little door.
Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
So the young man gets himself on the board first.
First game.
Actually only made the one first serve in that game, but as we said. Is there any parallel? Can you think of anyone who played like this over the years with 2 seconds? I can think of one. Joachim Johansson springs to mind. Remember him?
Yeah, Pim.
Yeah, he had 2 close to first serves, didn't he?
Remember the huge match he played here at the Aussie Open?
Yes.
Against Andre Agassi, where he served, I'm trying to think, was it 53 aces?
I think it was.
In that match, so he did go big on the second as well. But, there's also the counter argument here, and this is why they don't dominate. How many of those big servers sit inside the top 10 players in the world? They're not there, are they?
No.
And even inside the top 20, are they there?
No.
So with the big serve, which you'd like to have, comes some areas where you haven't been able to polish your skills on because you're not playing enough points.
Yeah. I think probably the only guy I can think of in the last 20 years was Isner, who did get in the top 10, right?
So John Isner.
15 love.
Because you don't get access to playing a lot of long points, you can not learn the craft. And it's just like that, couple of easy balls blown. And when you're younger, it's okay. Because you think it's cool. Oh, I'm barely playing. But as you get older and the game tightens up and you've got better players.
Yeah.
40 love.
Gael can serve his aces as well. You need those, don't you?
Yeah.
There's more depth in the game, so better players return. They make more balls. And
Mpetshi Perricard's percentage of breaks right now, early part of his career, is
40-50.
10%, which is the worst of anyone in the top 50. Again, these numbers are a little bit, obviously he's only just come onto the tour, but 10% is not going to get you very far.
No.
In terms of moving up. Yes, he's top 30 now, but if he wants to progress, you've got to think that number's got to improve significantly if he's to be top 10.
So Gael
Monfils.
he'll rely on that. He'll rely on those things, knowing that
One
if he
game
can keep
all.
a good, solid. There's Gael's wife. Won yesterday.
Yeah, had a good win, straight sets. Mikael Tillström, of course, is doing the coaching on the coaching bag these days. Has been for a couple of years now.
Out. 15 love. Let's for serve.
I'll be interested to watch what Gael does with his position at home on the return.
Yep.
How often it moves off the first serve. Does he just give different looks? I'd like him closer on the second.
Why? Explain that.
I don't want him like on top of the baseline.
15 all.
But I don't want to feel like I can give, you know, Mpetshi Perricard likes, as you said, he wants to serve 2 first serves. So don't give him the same view. I give him a slightly different view on the second serve to just challenge his thinking of not thinking, oh, I can just hit 2 first. He's got good reactions, Gael. He's happy to chip it.
30-50.
And once the ball's in play, you know, he will back himself in the point.
There's Emmanuel Plonk just behind him, the man in the pink. I think that was Sebastian Grosjean, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Double look at that. Looked like him anyway. No, it wasn't. My bad.
$40-50.
Oldest man since Ken Rosewall in 1977 to win a tour level title. On Saturday was Gael.
And remember the scoreline in his first round?
Remind me.
6-1, 5-2.
That's right.
Down.
Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
Yeah, some story on Kiwi soil that was.
Perricard leads 2-1.
No surprise. We're on serve early doors.
Time.
Playing here for the 19th time is this man. 65th major of his career. Extraordinary career. Continues to develop. Has he evolved his game, Rash, in the last few years?
I think the one thing he has done is continually learnt to look after his body better over the time. He's got an athletic profile that not many have. You know, he's athletically
15-all.
so he's got this natural gift in there that he can be available athletically. That has
15.
disappeared. I'm still surprised when I see players drop shot him. You know, when he's not in really outrageous position, because he's still got that fleet of foot.
Out. 40-15.
I'm not sure if he's as offensive as he was. You know, if I just look at the period that we were together, so I was a bit more of, let's get some bigger offense taking place. So I think he's more general now these days.
And was he receptive to that? Because that's been the one kind of general criticism of him at times, isn't it, in his career? Not now, because people marvel that he's still playing. But was that, you know?
No, he was, because that was he wanted to follow something. He wanted change, and you know that really elevated him into the top 10 players in the world, and kept him there and around the mark. So it gave him opportunities.
Gael Monfils.
Because we could see, you know, you can see the defensive ability, but that wasn't going to, and that keeps you alive. But you've got to be able to create offense.
2 games all.
And when you've got weapons that can, what he does have, which a lot of players find it hard to do, is that legitimate change of pace on the ball.
Yeah.
Where he can hit a ball 100 kilometres down, then all of a sudden there's 150. He's got that whole range, whereas you know some players can move the needle by maybe 10.
Yeah.
You know.
Really interesting, actually, to hear Tsitsipas talk yesterday, and he was asked how the tour's changed in the 6 years he's been on the tour, and he said it's become even more physical. He said now guys are hitting bigger, they're hitting to smaller targets. When I first came on tour 6 years ago, which I thought was interesting.
I just think maybe there's a mirror that needs to be looked at there.
Yeah, quite possibly.
You know?
Quite possibly.
You can deflect all you like.
Yeah.
And that's true. I would just say the depth is better.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, obviously equipment, all those sort of things. The athleticism's better.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing more. But gee, in his case, I would say, wow, has the ball been dropped?
Yeah.
That's an honest appraisal.
Out. 40 love.
Certainly feels like to me, though, generally, Rash, the game in terms of the serve has become bigger. Most people serve big now, don't they? You can't really get away with an average first serve anymore.
No. Well, most people can serve 200, right?
Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
Some movement on that second serve, and the follow-up was
Mpetshi Perricard leads
a simple one
3-2
on serve. 3-2 in the first.
Time.
Well, that'll do, won't it? Look at that.
Glorious. whether the storm comes through Monday, just to clean everything up, Nick.
Yeah, just to make me feel at home, right?
Yep, and then it's been brilliant ever since, and as good as those pitches are of Melbourne and the skyline, there's nothing better than these pitches here, looking at the sporting mecca of Melbourne.
Yeah, these grounds continue to expand as well and fill out. Oh, that was nice.
Love 15.
So these are the dangerous moments, you know, looking after this point here. How do you not create any angst on your serve for Gael?
15 all.
So he just rolls the ball in at the body at 172, thinking that he can beat his opponent off the ground.
Yeah.
And a free point there, that was a free point. You'd be disappointed not making that return. So if you're the younger Frenchman, you're Mpetshi Perricard, your team, you're thinking, okay, I've got this serve, so I know I can actually hold the majority of my games that I play in match. I'm hard to break. How can I give myself the opportunity to get the breaks? What do I need to put around that?
30 all.
Sometimes it may be a help, but how can I get a better game off the back of the court to generate some break opportunities?
Out. 40-30.
Going to get a lot of rhythm against this guy. That's another challenge, isn't it, as well, because of the way he plays.
Yeah, so then it's all about your mindset, right? You've got to come into this match knowing that's what it looks like.
Gael Monfils.
You know, what about playing someone like, you mentioned John Isner, Ivo Karlovic.
Yeah.
You know, when you played
3 games all.
and Ivo played for a long time, there are games there where you're not touching the ball for long periods of time, but you had to be aware that that's what it might look like.
Sure.
And so expect, if you're getting upset on the court because you're not getting your racket to the ball, well then you haven't prepared the right way, and you just got to keep walking.
Yeah. And that's mental preparation, right?
Yep. Giving yourself different looks, putting yourself in different positions on the court, and then waiting for that game where there are some missed first serves and you get ahead of the score count and create a little bit of anxiety around the server. And what you'll have, you can see Gael's skill there. What you'll also have with these big servers, it's not necessarily the speed that's the issue, because most players can handle the speed these days.
Yeah. It's
more location. Speed and location as a combination, brutal. There's your location.
We can talk about the serve all day long and the mechanics of it. It's probably out of my pay grade, more yours. But the one thing you do notice, the ball toss is so solid, isn't it? The ball toss is so secure. I bet if you looked at the variables of that, and we can look at it on the various different analysts we have, but it doesn't move a whole lot, does it, that ball toss?
No.
30-15.
And he's hitting it virtually on the rise or at its highest point. Never do you see it get to its highest point and drop. So this is, and the beauty with our game is it's, we're not under time restraints.
Yeah.
So you just got to stay, you just stay there.
Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
Nice close.
New ball,
so
please.
far looking pretty secure on his own deal. He's only lost 4
Mpetshi
points
Perricard leads 4
on
games
serve
to 3.
as the younger of the two Frenchmen.
Time.
Could be a tiebreak or two here. There's Andy Bettles at the back there, who of course is now coaching Svitolina as well. They had a great spell a few years ago. Back together. British coach. Some college tennis did Andy a few years ago.
Fault.
Twice, of course, a major semi-finalist, Monfils. Been a while. 2008 Roland Garros, 2016 US Open. Were you with him in 08 or not?
Yep.
Lost to Federer, didn't he?
Yep.
Semis.
Out.
What was that week like?
I had a couple of different experiences, because then there was Joe Wilfried as well, and he had a run to the semis. And I mean, they're, you know, the French crowd love it. You know, they're a different audience, aren't they? Roland Garros for Gael was, you know, even 4 weeks out, he's almost like in protection mode. I need to get there, Roger. You know, I want to be firing on all cylinders, and he was, you know, it was like, can you put me in cotton wool for it, so nothing happens to me until I get there. But when he got there, wow, did he just pour it all out? He had 100 people in his player box. But he said to me, he said, Roger, you're going to have to do some work with me. I said, why? He said, oh, I like tickets. I said, how many did you ask for? Oh, I know, I could ask for some matches, 50. You know, I said, 50 tickets, yeah, some more.
Oh, hello. That was nice. Don't get too many of those to the pound, do you?
40-30.
Off that backhand wing.
And one of the big courts for him, you know, a little bit like Nick here, John Cain, was Susan Longland for Gael to play on a big vibe.
Yeah, how pumped was he to qualify for the Olympics last year as well? It was a big goal of Monfils', wasn't it, to be in Paris?
Yeah.
Gael Monfils.
Able to achieve that as well.
4 games all.
He was unlucky to play Musetti in the first round.
Nick, I want you to bring up something. I want you to bring up Mpetshi Perricard's loss at the US Open this year.
Yeah.
Fault.
Love 15.
Last year.
Last year.
He lost 2. You're going to tell me, or
No.
Okay.
The scoreline. When you look at someone with this serve and
Yeah.
remembering how hard he is to break.
Yeah. 4th, 2 and 3 it was to Echeverry
4, 2 and 3. It's a lot of breaks, isn't it?
on quick courts as well, right?
Yeah. So I guess I'm suggesting, then he went on a run, but I guess what I'm suggesting, that as big as the serve is, there are breaks there in certain matches.
Yeah. Interesting, that day served as many aces as he did doubles.
Yes.
15 to 14.
Yes.
30-15.
It's 216 kilometres an hour. Gael stepped in, was looking for it.
Serving at close to 60% at the moment. lost at 1 point on that first deal.
Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
That is vicious. And so much movement to it as well.
Mpetshi Perricard leads 5 games to 4.
It's 25 minutes in here. And we've already had the 9 games.
Time.
Has there been a better athlete ration your money in the last 2 decades than this guy? Raw athlete.
No, I don't think so. And I remember our first off-season, Gael came to Australia in the pre-season and did 3 weeks with me before this Australian summer, and the things that I was able to put him through, and I guess the sort of numbers he was able to generate, and also just, you know, how he did it, a lot of it, not with ease, but it was extraordinary to watch. Fun to work with. Some people said, oh, it's frustrating to work with. I said, no, there was nothing frustrating about working with real talent. Both with a racket and athletic. Like, that combination's quite extraordinary.
But you were a no-nonsense coach, and that's your attitude. So I guess people said that because people look at him always and thought, oh, sometimes he clowns around a bit.
Yeah, and
so
but I gave him the fun. You need to keep the fun element in the game, and he needs to be able to have his own DNA. But you're just sharpening the edges around what the professionalism looks like if you want to be a top 10 player.
That's not the best of approaches. Got punished because of it.
And for Mpetshi Perricard, I guess this is what we're talking about. How will his game, it will evolve if he's got the right people around him looking at these areas, because off the back of the court, it's so sketchy, isn't it? And Nick, sometimes you're blinded by the beauty of the serving side, and you're not looking at anything else, and you're thinking, oh, well, the serve takes you through. But, you know, imagine if there becomes some polish in these other areas.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be brilliant, but it just needs to be, it's threatening. It's just about being threatening.
Interesting patterns on the serve so far from Mpetshi Perricard. He's actually on the first serve. On the juice, he's mixed it up a lot, but on the ad side, he's actually only gone 2 on the first serve so far. But interesting to know if Monfils is aware of that with his first delivery.
And it is his favourite on that side. Because he's just natural swing. You know, he's got his serve's quite natural, and it just naturally sort of just carves the ball. So Gail's going, come on. 209 off the net. It should be going over the back fence.
Out. 15 all.
Average second serve speed so far, 193. It's only 10k shy of the first, which is something we alluded to at the start of this match.
30-50.
It's quite tough as well, isn't it, Rash? Because when he's serving volleys, obviously it's such a big serve, you're going to chip a lot back into play, and you see him coming in, that affects your chip, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think you should still just stay with your chip, you know, back yourself in. Gael's now sitting a little bit wider on that return on the first court. It's just made a slight adjustment. So even though it's 40-15 here, I think Gael feels like this is a bit of an opportune game that hasn't made a few balls. Gave him that one.
Mpetshi Perricard.
No massive surprise that we're tracking a tie-break here.
6 games to 5.
And we're a game away from being just there.
Time.
Not a seat to be had on court 3, and plenty of queues outside to get in here as well for a match that has got a fair bit of intrigue about it. So unsurprisingly, this opening set yet to have a break.
Love 15.
And this is a bit of a tricky time at this hour. The sun's been around and in your zones. Gael's not a big fan of sun. He's had trouble in years gone by. Just finding the ball, you know, being able to get the ball toss in the right position for him.
Love 30.
That was one of his better returns. Monfils couldn't get out of the way of it. First time either of them has been at love 30 on serve. Can you believe it?
Well, it was passive, wasn't it, from Monfils? That was a passive point, and then there was a big opportunity for Mpetshi Perricard, and that volley was a nervous volley.
Yeah, not sure what he was trying to do with it, are you?
Yeah, the full open court. Gael actually was tracking there. Maybe he's a little concerned about Gael's ability to track a ball down. He's seen that image a lot.
It's a rare exchange of any sort of length. It's only the third rally we've had over 9 shots in the entire match so far.
Did well there, waited for his opportunity to spread the court, didn't really get himself too caught up with testing the lines. That was almost a clay court point from Monfils there. Just, you know, he recognises that he wins the baseline battle. But if you play too safe, though, Nick, you've got a young man up the other end who will pull the trigger on a ball. And if he pulls the trigger on it and he gets it right, you're staring set point. So there's a happy medium. You've got to find the balance. Can't be too conservative.
Chip was not good enough.
Yeah,
Monfils is able to dig himself out of trouble.
6 games all, tiebreak.
Played almost 75 matches last year at Mpetshi Perricard, and he played almost 75 tiebreaks in those matches, which again is not going to be a huge surprise to anybody.
This is what Mpetshi Perricard does in his matches. We saw it, that was a glaring illustration. Hopefully we'll pick it up if there is a replay here. Actually gets so tight to the net. Have a look at this. So Gael hits this ball fine, and look how close his net. The lob is the winner.
Yep.
And Gael normally very good at seeing that. His tennis IQ is pretty high. As a missed opportunity.
That's for serve.
Out.
And with the young Frenchman, that lob is on all the time.
Waddle.
Third ace.
Oh, beautiful left hand there from Monfils there. This first one is accelerated on. Watch the way his left hand then just brings this racket face around. Creates the angle. Nice acceleration.
That's for serve.
Gee, be disappointed with that. Not putting that ball back in play. Did a great job of defending the return. Was moving to the middle and stuck the racket out to put that ball in play.
Oh, that is a special volley. As Monfils had hit a return that looked to be an awkward one.
Absolutely, you'd back yourself in here with after this return. You're thinking you're going to get a look at it, but look at his ability to just drop this ball really short. Even if that was slightly in the wrong place, Gael would have tracked that down.
Emmanuel Plonk, of course, who's done a lot of good work with a number of players over the years, with Luca Pui for many years. Very respected French coach.
4-2, Mpetshi
It was the
Perricard.
second serve that was a little timid, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and right in the hitting zone for Mpetshi Perricard, and he did the right thing. He went straight back at Monfils. You know what I have enjoyed with Mpetshi Perricard is that when he played Nick Kyrgios in Brisbane, obviously, you know, a lot built up around that, and just didn't say boo.
Yeah.
Just composure, just went through his routines, did his thing, regardless of what was happening on the court, just stayed true to himself. And I thought that was exceptional for a young man. Not sure what he's like internally, but the external view is perfect. I'm hoping we get a bit more French emotion though at some point. You know, the French, they normally give you a bit, don't they? You see a bit from them.
Surely not. Change direction, but wasn't able to execute on it.
4-3, Mpetshi Perricard.
Yeah, tip of the hat to Jake Fernley last night as well on that very subject, how composed he was.
Yeah, he did exactly the same thing. I mean, that was, you know, and that's a environment that was magnified. Volume was turned up, and for him to go out there and actually execute the way he did, I thought that was first class. Had some preparation though, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was a little quieter serve, wasn't it? That was 2-11, so it wasn't the bomb. It was 2-11, and as soon as you're off a little bit, that, you know, if you don't get your location right, good players deal with it. Nicely chipped back.
Keeping with the set as a whole, and it finishes with an absolute stunner. That
was extraordinary. It was, both players had a right to win it, and then when they're off the back of the court, you thought it was going to be the elder Frenchman, but this young man saw it and thought, I've got to go after it. That was brave. How does it affect both players here, this following point?
Good response after a physical point as well.
5-all.
Big first serve. Needs to find its mark, you'd think.
Just tightened up a bit, didn't he? because there was a couple of balls there that you felt he was in control of. He had the rally, he wanted it.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to accelerate the ball, and it was a very safe point. Very safe point from Gael there. There was real opportunity for him. He's home over, just getting a little bit of break. He'll be fine. But yeah, that was one that I think you'd want to control more than actually just wait for something to happen.
Yeah. This tiebreakers, when once the opening set didn't exist, it's a completely different matchup.
It's called tension, Nick, isn't it? It's amazing what it does.
Yeah.
So there's sun in the air. You got sun in the air. The sun's right there. The ball goes up. So smart from Gael. You would never have thought it that you get a ball like that. You put that in the air, and then you add some tension to it at set point, and that's what we got.
And he just about got enough elevation to it, didn't he? That was the key. Any lower, he's probably okay.
Yeah.
Great drama.
This is the beauty of major championships, isn't it? We see it every year at all the different majors. We see these sort of things, these games. That's why they're sort of, you got to get in your seat and sit and watch it, and you've got to see them all out. You can never take for granted that a match is going to be a certain style, because it, as you said, Nick, the tiebreak's being completely played at a different
fashion, isn't it?
Yeah, different fashion.
This is the 39th all-French matchup at the Aussie Open in the Open era. Turning into a good one. Great first volley.
And that was great. That was great courage as well.
7-6. Mpetshi Perricard.
From right here, I backed Gael in there. I thought he might play that passing shot down the line. The opening was there, kept it safe, but there was courage to come forward, and then he would have seen Monfils a number of times watching him as a youngster growing up, watching that play where someone's hit that ball, come in, and there's the long arms of the Frenchman hitting passing shots. Got caught there. Gael likes to slide that one down the middle on that side of the court. Who's prepared to own this point? Not wait, but own it.
Eight-7, Monfils.
Gael has done a good job of getting his racket to the ball, hasn't he? On the serve of Mpetshi Perricard now, so hasn't found an ace for a while. He's only had 6, well, only, compared to Gael's 4.
What a stunning return. Mpetshi Perricard simply was not alive to it coming back. An intoxicating set. Monfils is up after 49 minutes.
And there's a whole, when we look at players and we look at them, that's one part of it, and then the whole tennis pie that makes up a tennis match. It's why we get certain results. We just saw there the pressure points, pressure moments there, what happened. It wasn't like there was a dominant serve on the dominant serve that we saw from Mpetshi Perricard, it didn't exist.
Yep.
And and when it did land, the location wasn't great, because that's just natural bit of pressure. The mind's thinking a little differently. It's not as free. Oh, come on. Come on, Gael. Stop it.
40 love.
There's an idea of the
Skill.
the feel that he has through his hands and the connection to the racket.
Fault. Out.
Gael Monfils.
A big strike off that one, and
First
that is
game,
the
second set.
ideal start to the second for Gael Monfils.
So we know from a physical standpoint, Nick, the physicality of the match is not necessarily going to be there, because there's a lot of quick points. Mpetshi Perricard gets a lot of free points. Gael will also, but it becomes the mental battle of like potentially playing games that don't have any rhythm to them and just staying the course. I'll be interested to see now how Mpetshi Perricard reacts. Like, can he have service games here where they're free and they're free flowing and they're quick, and putting it back on Monfils? In a lot of his matches that happens. But at the moment, Gael's got a little read on it. I wouldn't say, and that's a big miss. And we saw that on a set point as well, when he had to save when he missed his first serve by a long way. That's the cat and mouse game that the Frenchman loves. If there's any air in the ball when you play a low volley, Gael's, this is 38-year-old, folks. And this for him is a little bit of bread and butter. Look at the reach as well at the end and the slide.
First serve.
Second oldest man to start the men's draw. Only Stan Wawrinka is older. He's in action today as well. So Wawrinka given a wild card into this event. Former champion. And I think, for my money, the most telling number right now is the unreturned serve. I just spoke to you. They're identical, Rash, and you would not have said that necessarily at the start of this match. Unreturned serve, 38% for both. Monfils would take that, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Which, as you said, suggests that he is making a fair few balls right now.
Well, he feels like he's got to read. It's not first serve after first serve, and when the first serve misses, it's not the same speed on the second serve. So we're getting a different version Mpetshi Perricard here, and Gael's liking that. It's feeling a little, even though it's uncomfortable, it's better than what he thought might come off the racket. And again, that serve there went to the body, didn't quite get it at 214. He's ready to work. It's a telling moment for the youngster.
Using that chip return more and more to good effect. He hung on in there.
Gael Monfils.
Mpetshi Perricard once again paying the price for not putting it away. And Monfils has now improved his position further here.
And what was the
Monfils
secret here?
leads
That
2
ball
games
there,
to
the
none.
lob. Gael went to school on the lob that was missed. That smash that was missed, the very important part of the tiebreak, which would have given Mpetshi Perricard the set.
Absolutely.
So he's since then thrown up another couple of lobs. in the air, and they haven't been dealt with in the best manner.
Second serve.
What can happen with Gael once he breaks like this? There can be a game where he plays quite free, and a quick game comes off his racket.
Finding any ways through.
15 love.
No, and at times in the rally, it's like Monfils is just putting the ball back, saying, "Going, have a hit," you know, sort of enticing him to have that big hit.
Yep.
Fault.
Thirty love. Let's. First serve. Forty love.
Really making any impact from a return standpoint still.
Gael Monfils.
Just the game that
New balls,
Monfils
please.
was looking
Monfils
for.
leads 3 games to
He
love.
cements his lead here, 3 love.
Time.
It's going very nicely for the man in your picture so far.
And he comes in with great feelings, doesn't he? Landed in Australia, oh sorry, went to New Zealand, but lands in Australia with a title.
Amazing consistency over the years, isn't it? No Frenchman has won more matches at majors, 126 he's currently on, some record. I think of all the greats as well from that nation, goodness me, talk about a tennis nation with some seriously deep history. Some of the old guard have kind of chipped off, haven't they? You think of Tsonga, obviously, who's gone, Gilles Simon. Gasquet will be retiring at Roland Garros this year. He lost in qualies this time around. Quite the group, weren't they? You were part of it.
They were a special group, and all like pushing each other along.
Out.
15 all.
All good friends. How did that separate with the rivalry?
Yeah, no, I think they had honest respect for each other. You know, Joe and Gael were extremely tight individuals, there's no doubt about that. a good read, hasn't he? At the moment, he feels like he's got a read on
15-30.
on the serve of Mpetshi Perricard. And Gael's been very good at picking the ball off the racket early of a server. And you can see with Mpetshi Perricard at the moment,
30 all.
his service location is not ideal. You know, so yeah, you can serve big, but where are you landing the ball? And if you're landing it in the zones where players can get a comfortable racket to it, they're going to start picking you off.
Let's first serve.
Like that ball there went to go wide, it was right in the strike zone for Monfils. And when he's serving at his best, he's virtually painting lines, isn't he?
Yep.
Fault.
That was fascinating. He hit a really good backhand and he stopped, didn't he? He thought, I'm not coming back this one, and then suddenly it was on his feet and he wasn't ready for it. And that unforced error number is growing uncomfortably from Mpetshi Perricard.
Juice.
Yeah, not a good place for him to be in a baseline rally defensively
That's it.
behind the baseline.
Monfils.
That plays into Monfils' psyche of being able to move his opponent around the court.
Juice.
He's elongating these rallies, isn't he? Look at the average rally length now, it's over 4.
Yeah.
I mean, we did a match yesterday, didn't we, with Tiafoe and Rinderknech. It was 2.5 for most of it. And you would have thought this would be 2.5 would be your banker, and yet here we are at 4 and a bit, which speaks volumes to just, again, how well this guy's returned and how he's neutralised the delivery of Mpetshi Perricard.
First time
That's
he's
it.
hit that
Mpetshi
serve
Perricard.
up in the 220 range. His fastest has been 232 kilometres an hour on the first delivery, but haven't seen too many of those 220 pluses recently.
Game and Mpetshi Perricard. Monfils leads 3 games to 1.
Well, a hold that was absolutely essential, you sense, for this 21-year-old. Proper juniors, the semis of the French Open juniors a few years ago. She's got a sister that's playing as well. She's close to the top 50 in the junior ranks now. Younger, 15 years of age.
She's serving at 180 at the moment.
15 love.
I dread to think, actually.
And the problem is, if for Mpetshi Perricard in the rally, if you can't move Gael and you haven't got him in a defensive spot, he's going to use his forehand or backhand. He's just going to be creative around the court. You're going to have to cover a lot of real estate. just like we see there, even though that point wasn't won by
30-15.
Monfils, you could see there Mpetshi Perricard having to go side to side. So eventually also what it can do is can start taking your legs away, which are two big assets you need for that serve. I'm assuming there'll be a period in this match where he will find some service rhythm.
Smooth change of direction.
40-15.
French contingent.
Gael Monfils.
Absolutely delighted with how this is unfolding because he's well in charge here. A set and a break.
Monfils leads 4-1. Time.
So some problems for Mpetshi Perricard to try and solve here. It's a matchup that's not really at the moment in play, particularly on his terms, and we didn't necessarily think that was going to be the case.
So right now,
15 love.
if you're analysing Mpetshi Perricard's serve right now, it's an average serve.
It is.
It's, you know, yes, he's serving some decent numbers, but they're just going towards Monfils. I'm not sure whether he's trying to get a percentage. I'm not sure if he's trying to get a percentage of higher first serves in. I'm not sure whether there hasn't been a lot of communication with his team around what that looks like, but, you know, his...
Why do you think that is? Why is the serve at the moment so ineffective?
I just think there are days it can't be at its highest. When we see him at his premium,
yeah,
that's just, it can't be all the time, because that might be against a particular player where he feels a different, you know, he's got a different feeling. Right here he's playing his countryman who he would respect and has seen played so much. Does he feel like he's got the right to take him out?
Mm-hmm. And it feels to me like as well, when he's stepping up to the line, the confidence is eroded a little bit, isn't it? In what is his go-to shot. There you go, that'll do.
He's looking at Gael and he's going, this guy's got he's got reach. He's getting his racket to the ball, ball's coming back. He'd fear him off the back of the court. So there's a whole lot of things in play there that we're not really aware of in his mind.
Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
Good job to hold there, and he would also feel,
Monfils leads,
you know, he'd feel the
4-2.
pressure of when the ball gets back in play.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, because when it does get back in play, you look at the rallies. It's Monfils, obviously, as we expected, that has been able to dictate the majority of them.
So what's he looking for here? You know, I guess this was our conversation. how can he build a game that can actually affect a break of serve? A game that's not relying on the opposition.
15
You know
love.
what I mean? It's, you know, forget the opposition. Can I? But at the moment when you see him off the back of the court here, you're feeling like, oh, there's, how will I make my inroads?
Yeah.
Dirty love.
Have you got that hang time, Nick, or not?
No,
No,
definitely not. Even after a yoga session, I don't have that hang time rash.
not even off a trampoline.
My kids do, thankfully.
Fault.
30-15.
It's only the second point he's lost on serve in this set.
And that's what I'd probably like to see more of. Mpetshi Perricard, if you're, you know, on Monfils' second serve, get after it a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, just challenge a little bit. Don't feel like it's a ball you're just putting in play, because off the back of the court, you've got to feel like it's not your best hunting ground. So take a few cuts at the ball. Gee whiz.
40-30.
Was that sun related? I don't know, but it was,
No,
it was different, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think initially he was looking to hit a swinging forehand and then thought maybe...
Gael Monfils.
maybe not.
Another
Monfils
straightforward
leads
hold,
5 games to
relatively
2.
speaking. He's a game away from a 2-set lead here.
Time.
In good shape right now. There's the man playing here for a 19th time. Last year, in fact, the only year in 19 that he didn't make a final, but he put the record straight immediately this time around.
Love 15.
Right now, that weapon of his is blunted. He's continuing to put so many balls back into play.
Fault. Out.
15 all. 30, 50.
And, you know, you could think, oh, do I go bigger? Do I keep going big off my first and second? You know, do I go bigger with my second? But you're really throwing away points potentially.
40, 15. Gael Mpetshi Perricard. Monfils leads 5 games to 3. $15 love. $30 love.
Accuracy doesn't get any better than that. Standing serving.
Fault.
40 love.
And his younger compatriot hasn't been able to show anything really from that side of his game, and he's needed it. Monfils with chances to move up by 2 sets to love.
Fault.
40, 15.
One of the best points he's played in a while.
Yeah. One of the more cleaner points.
40, 30.
striking-wise.
As good as it gets. And right now, French experience is trumping French youth. 2 sets to love.
Game and second sets, Monfils. 6 games to 3. Monfils leads 2 sets to love.
Well, Rash, 2 sets to love. Let's run us through some of these numbers.
Yeah, well, look at Gael really at 56% of first serves in, so there should have been a potential for an opportunity for a break from Mpetshi Perricard, but because he lacks any real substance really off the back of the court, he was unable to do that, and Gael winning 86% of the first serves, and the big number, 73%. We know the numbers are going to be inflated in this match on second serve points won. There's no doubt about that. But Monfils created all the break points there early. He got one, and from then on it was basically managing that set. You can see here Gael doing an unbelievable job athletically. We know his defensive ability, but then athletically he's got all the tools to be able to cover big parts of the court. Here he does a great job as well, just making extra balls. So you can, it's just a lot of balls in play and challenging a skill set of his younger opponent. And when the serve wasn't helping Mpetshi Perricard to get through matches, and here's this run again. Well, we've seen that on repeat for a lot of years now.
Time.
Only ever lost 3 times from 2 sets up. There's Gael Monfils.
Mpetshi Perricard to serve.
It's been a long time since it happened as well. 11 years ago, Roger Federer beat him in the quarterfinals of the US Open. Certainly looking unlikely right now.
Love 50.
You can probably accept that. And the other two? Do you have the other two?
Yeah, absolutely. Tommy Robredo at the French, 2013.
Yep.
And the other one, were you on the bag here? Fanini, 2010 French Open, 2nd round. When did you end with, Gael?
Oh, no comment.
Okay.
No comment. What does that mean? Means I was on the bag.
You were on the bag, okay.
That's what it meant.
Love 30.
You know, there are times when I'll, you know, if you throw things out that I don't want to remember.
Okay.
You know?
Selective memory, right?
Yeah.
Good at that.
You know, like here 20 years ago, Leighton Hewitt loses the final.
15-30.
Some memories are tough to...
Well, they're brilliant memories.
Yeah.
But the ending wasn't brilliant on the court, but off the court it was. That night, Leighton Hewitt got engaged.
Nice.
I mean, this is full-time danger now.
15-40.
So I'm a little bit, I would have thought maybe, you know, even for Mpetshi Perricard, maybe he's just emotionally and just mentally a little fatigued just with the encounter, but some serve volley points. It just needs to be a little different. I don't want to take Gael on the back of the court. There he goes. Just a different view.
30-40.
Because off the back of the court, you have to feel like there's no success.
There's only one winner, isn't there?
Yeah, you should be feeling that yourself. The data should be showing you that.
Fault.
Nice coverage.
In a way, that was a little mini match point, that one. Because you get a breakdown, the 2 sets and a breakdown, you've been struggling to create any break points, none so far in the match.
Fault.
Advantage, Mpetshi Perricard.
So Mpetshi Perricard wouldn't have come back from 2 sets to love. He wouldn't have played enough 5-set matches, but so how do you navigate that?
Yeah, of course, played one 5-setter at Wimbledon last year. That's the only one he's played.
Sorry, you're right.
In fact, he played Goffin, the French last year. That was also 5, so a couple
there
so far in his fledgling career.
Advantage, Mpetshi Perricard.
But does he come back from 2 sets to love?
Don't think so. I'll check.
And that's the kicker.
No.
How do you navigate that passage?
That's for serve.
A lot has to go right for you from this point on. And the one big thing for Mpetshi Perricard is this skill here at the serve.
That's for serve.
I feel like now he would need to have one of his better serving days from this point on to get through this match.
Yeah.
Fault.
Which would be a remarkable spin on what we've seen.
He's only hit 10 aces so far through 2 sets.
Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
Some amazing.
First game,
How
third
many
set.
volleys in this match he's hit below the height of the net. I mean, every time he comes in, he's having to hit. He's so rarely got a volley that he's comfortable, isn't he?
Yeah, Gael has a great ability to just soften the hands and drop the ball in front of you. He hits that sort of almost that off-pace ball to you.
Yeah.
Doesn't try and pass you, but is looking for the volley to come back and come up with a little bit of air so he can track it. That's his mentality. It's not necessarily the pass he'll hit when he's got no other option and he feels like he athletically can't get back into the point, or the ball's sitting up at a height where he can sit and load.
It's a 1-2 pass scenario, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's a skill, isn't it, to bring yourself into a point by hitting a certain shot, even when you're under pressure.
There's a fair bit of guidance there from Emmanuel Plonk.
15 love. Dirty love. Forty love. Let second serve.
Out.
Gael Monfils.
And if you're Mpetshi Perricard,
One game all.
and you were his team, you'd have to talk about Gael of, playing last week, big week, first week back on the tour. There will, he's 38, great athlete, we know, but there can be a fatigue moment, and in matches there are times when he does have a little dip.
Concentration-wise.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, used that shot nicely, isn't he?
And it's a hard
Love
shot to
15.
read because he just manipulates this with he manipulates this ball with his wrist. This is all about wrists for Gael.
15 all.
Fault.
15-30.
And people talk about hitting the first and second. That's 203, so it's a big serve, but almost the same speeds. But you are playing against the house, aren't you?
Yep. Nice volley. Took the pace out of it.
30 all.
And from here, you got two choices. If I try and drop volley from here, Gael's got it. And if I hit it too deep, he's going to be able to hit a ground stroke.
40-30. Game. Mpetshi Perricard. New balls.
Couple of volleys.
Ball change. Mpetshi Perricard leads 2 games to 1.
Mpetshi Perricard. It's a 2-1 lead.
Time.
So far, so good for Gael Monfils. The winner of this match will take on either Daniel Altmaier or Francisco Comesana of Argentina. Fritz potentially in the 3rd round. Fritz beat Brooksby today in straight. Jensen Brooksby returning to the tour after his ban.
And how long was that for?
I think he was out for 18 months, I want to say, something like that.
It's a long sabbatical, isn't it?
Yeah. What about this backhand? Take us through this backhand, because at the moment it doesn't look like it stands up. Rash,
15
what
love.
do you see him being able to improve that shot? It's getting picked on at the moment.
Yeah. I'd probably like to see him a little bit, probably load up a little bit more with his body through it. I think he's a little bit arm.
Light, first serve.
He's having a little guess on the Monfils serve as well.
Yeah.
He's sort of unsure where.
Yeah.
And again, jumping to the left-hand side, Gael
2 games
in the middle.
all.
He looks a little lost, doesn't he?
But with the way our scoring system is and the way it works, you know, you can be right out of it, but you just hold your service game and you get to a tie break and you clinch that, and then you feel like you're back in it. It's whether he can get himself through without Gael getting another opportunity, and his misses of his serve. If we had a vision of those of where they all landed, his first serve.
15
I
love.
mean, that's a super serve. No one's getting that ball back. But if you had vision of where all his first serves landed, Nick, they're big misses, aren't they?
They are.
You know, he's had some real big misses for someone. You know, so this is for him. It's not a great serving day.
Out.
30 love.
Interesting when you talk about the serve, because one thing Ben Shelton did last year with Shelton, obviously one of the best servers out there, being a lefty helps him as well. But Shelton definitely last year showed a bit more variety with his serve. He didn't just go with the fastball, he mixed it up a lot more. And as a result, first serve numbers Percentage went up, obviously, because he was taking a bit of pace off it. And I don't really think it impacted the points won either. So he sort of gave some different looks, and I'd be fascinated to see how this serve evolves over the next couple of years, because as we said, indoor conditions probably doesn't matter, right? You can use the fast ball, but outdoors, sometimes you need a bit more.
But Shelton's probably better off the back of the court, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So he's steadier off the back of the court. This is a good finish here. Nice volley. Moves away from Monfils.
Oh. Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
Some serious
Mpetshi
swerve
Perricard
to it.
leads 3 games to 2.
Stay on serve. Mpetshi Perricard looking for a monumental comeback.
Time.
Huge crowds in across the opening 2 days. Day 3 here. And the 2 Frenchmen, the young apprentice, taking on one or two of the oldest players in the draw, Gael Monfils. They've played for 1 hour and 38 minutes. It's been a quick match, courtesy of the way the serve's been played.
Out.
15 love.
Fault.
15 all.
Monfils hasn't had too much trouble on his service, yet to face a break point.
Dirty 15.
It's just a bit of inexperience and obviously the moment, the pressure of the moment for Mpetshi Perricard.
(40-30). Gael Monfils.
And again, just a couple of basic
all.
unforced errors littered in that game for Mpetshi Perricard, which just allows Gael to breathe a little easier on his service games, knowing he's getting those virtually every time he steps up to serve.
Yeah, look at those baseline points, 141-25. Actually surprised it's as close as that right now.
Yeah.
Svitolina, who scored a good win yesterday.
Out.
15 love.
And she plays Caroline Dollarhide in the second round as Svitolina. Seeded 28. This year, the Ukrainian. Just actually starting to think in my mind who the oldest player ever to be the seed at a major is in the men's, because this must be pretty close, I would have thought. Not be too many 38-year-olds that have beaten a seed in a major. I would suspect. Have to get our good friend Greg Sharko on that one.
Out.
40 love. Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
That's a bit more like it. And he's still, let's not forget, only actually been broken once out here. It's 4-3.
Time.
This man trying to find some answers out here. He's hanging on in there in this third set. New Greg Sharko will be on it. Just giving me the answer to our question.
Give it to me. When you're ready.
Okay,
Right.
after this point is coming. Pancho Gonzalez, he tells me, was 40 years of age and 122 days when he beat Tony Roach, the #2 seed here in 1968, in fact at the US Open.
Wow, that's a good win.
Yeah, top work from Greg Sharko.
Yeah.
Love.
So there's never been any pressure built, has there?
No.
On the Monfils serve. He had one love 30 so far. So what it does is you don't actually step up to the line thinking I need to find this big serve. I need to put a bit more sauce on this serve. He's serving within himself, and knowing even if it's a second serve, he's generally potentially looking after that point.
Fault.
Gael Monfils.
Stretch. Good elasticity. 4 apiece.
4 games all.
This is a bit of talent and just raw power. You know, that's just natural power, isn't it? This is not easy to do.
Especially with a chopper grip like he had there.
Fault.
So big game for Mpetshi Perricard here. You feel these early points.
Love 15.
And I'm not sure why he'd even ever hit that. When Gael was actually, he was running for the 100 metres out of the blocks across the other side of the court.
Please.
Good effort. There was big time pressure here for Mpetshi Perricard when he comes in to play this volley. Wasn't brilliant. Gael thought it may have gone cross court, but look at the close on the pass. Isn't the lob inviting?
Got a bit passive.
30-50.
Forced backwards off a heavily spun ball.
And I'm not sure why, because just that nature's, you know, you can end up doing that. You know, being that you decelerate on the ball.
Yeah, nice. Attack that with his feet. Dropping pretty quickly, that.
Yeah, and you called it. That was exactly why he was able to play that volley at that height. So when you've got time here, when the ball's in the air, yep, you've got to have quick feet. Perfect.
(40-30).
Oh, had the shield up there on a good stab. And he was able to steal that point, really. Monfils had him seemingly at his mercy.
Mpetshi Perricard leads 5 games to 4. Time.
Beautiful day in Melbourne. So far it's been a good one for Gael Monfils. But this third set, still very much on a knife edge. Mpetshi Perricard, in fairness, has really made absolutely no impression on return so far. Not had a single break point in almost 2 hours of play.
15 love.
And it would go against the trend, wouldn't it, if we saw a break here?
Love.
And Mpetshi Perricard doesn't really adopt anything different off the returner serve, does he, Nick? No. It's been similar, I feel, for the whole match.
Yes.
Fault.
I just think as well, his height and his frame, a little chip and charge every now and again. I mean, just to mix it up, wouldn't you? I'm not saying obviously he's got the skills to do that at the moment. Maybe he hasn't, but just knife that ball in and be a presence, right? In a big game like this. Hasn't shown it, has he?
Yeah.
It's easy from here, but...
Gael Monfils.
That's not getting it done, is it?
5 games all.
Context of this match has really turned on that lob, hasn't it? At 6-4 in the breaker, it's been a totally different match since then.
Absolutely, fully controlled by one player, really. And yes, there's only been one break, but there probably could have been 3 or 4 in there as well. There've been opportunities. Just for this reason, because Gael's been able to get so many balls back on return, and he's better engage his younger countrymen. And from there, there's not a skill set that matches in that baseline rally.
Yep.
So it's, at the moment, this is purely on Gael's racket, isn't it? You feel like it is, this match.
Absolutely.
15 all.
And he knows it. He does know it, because he knows their opportunities. When the ball's alive, their opportunities, don't make a mistake. He's been pretty good with his unforced errors as well. He's only had 15, Gael, to 33. Even that forehand, that the return came across. Mpetshi Perricard forehand. He wasn't able to hit it in a really good direction, and then follow that in. He had full advantage, and then the second one is ballooned out by 6 feet.
Quite get the forehand dipping enough on Mpetshi Perricard. It was a good volley though. There's bite to it, wasn't there?
Yeah. Wow, that's a big miss. Watched him play in Brisbane, he would not have hit one serve anywhere near that spot.
30-40.
He's in some peril now, though. Chance for Monfils to get a break.
Yes.
He'll be savage with himself, Gael Monfils there. Just not making, this was set up for him, this shot here, just to make his opponent play. It's not easy, but he'll be disappointed that that ball just didn't get over the net.
Let's for serve. Advantage, Mpetshi Perricard.
Fault.
Game, Mpetshi Perricard.
Enormous second delivery. And a little look down the other end as well.
Mpetshi Perricard leads 6 games to 5.
We're a game away from a third set breaker here.
Time.
So the big man has not been as effective as he would have liked, and not been as effective as perhaps we're used to seeing on serve today, but still, as we said, there's only been one break in this match despite that.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, isn't it? You're still in, and when you look at that, when you push everything aside, there's one break, but it's, can he impact here?
Fault.
$15 love.
That's good.
15 all.
Well, you never know when something might kickstart your campaign off the back of the court.
That's so short, that serve, doesn't it? That's what's great about it.
50.
Obviously, when you get it that short and the movement with it, it's a nightmare.
$40-50.
Yeah, and it is surprising that he won't chip any balls back and just and keep balls in play instead of making that first hit error.
Fault. Fault.
40-30.
He's only won 4 return points in this set, 2 of them in this game. In fact, 2 of those have been gifted by doubles, so it speaks volumes to the outcome of this set.
Game,
Someone did
Monfils.
chip it back, and Monfils was able to clean up. So it will be a second breaker.
6 games all tie-break.
And all things would lead, all that information would lead to Monfils closing out here. But in this scenario in a tiebreaker, you can get hot, find your first serve, but nothing suggests that this is going to be an easy tiebreak for Mpetshi Perricard. Good start though.
1-0 Mpetshi Perricard.
Actually, it's up to the body there. Just tucked him up, didn't he? Used the climb. Obviously gets a fair bit of bounce out of that serve.
And then got a good first strike.
Yeah. There's our forehand heaviness numbers. Mpetshi Perricard obviously above the average.
But you've got to land them.
1-1.
And you can see the creativity from Gael there. He hooked that
2-1
ball
Monfils.
to get Mpetshi Perricard out of court and then shaped up to aggressively hit again and smartly use the forward half of the court.
Out.
2-2.
And for Monfils, he'll want to be off the court. He'll want to get off now if he can. Don't want to extend this tennis match.
Out.
May not have to either. It's a poor miss.
And how smart was that as well, because
3-2
saw the
Monfils.
off-pace serve. Still, he was serve bowling, and then Monfils, instead of deciding to flatten that ball out on the return, he decided to chip it back.
Yep.
Make sure I made the incoming volley a play and play through me.
Absolutely. Got a mini break here to work with as well.
Fault.
He's just handed it back.
3-3.
And that was a little mistake there, because you got the mini break. Do you need the big first serve? No. Knowing that you're comfortable and if the ball goes back in play, I thought he might just find his sliding serve down the middle. It's a very safe one for him.
And of course, Mpetshi Perricard had a couple of set points in the opening set breaker. Wasn't able to capitalize on them though.
So much better from the young Frenchman. Just decided to go with the slice backhand. He actually hits it quite nicely. You'd almost decide to be full-time backhand slice.
Yep.
And keep the ball, and you actually then are making Monfils create pace. Got to generate your own pace. Do something with the ball yourself.
He struck the forehand with authority, didn't he, as well?
Yeah.
Space was there for him.
Well, you knew where that was going. He generally likes to front up and find that line. But yeah, from that position of the court, that was high risk.
Bit of panic there, wasn't there?
Yeah. 5-4 Monfils.
And you just see the maturity, don't you? And that's just maturity of play. Gael knowing the situation. Always he was going to chip a ball back. Let's see what type of serve he looks for here, whether he does go for that ball down the middle, his natural. Yep.
Three-quarter pace, wasn't it, as well? And Gael Monfils has match points.
6-4. Monfils. Merci.
Fault. Fault.
6-5. Monfils.
Wow, I did not expect that.
9th double for Monfils.
But for what reason? You know, that second serve could have been, geez, you could have thrown it in an underarm. You know what I mean? Like it was virtually a rally starter.
Six-all.
He's given this man a little bit of hope here.
That's a big lifeline. And sometimes when the anxiety rises a little bit in the match, Gael can serve first serve. If he misses it, he's quickly serving the second.
Yeah.
And doesn't just sort of just adjust himself.
Six apiece. Thunderbolt from Mpetshi Perricard. And is the script going to be flipped here in this breaker in a similar fashion it was to the first?
Mpetshi Perricard.
And he went after it, didn't he? You know, that was the difference. The ball went in play, and Gael had a first off beforehand, didn't rip it.
Remarkable, quite incredible scenes. Monfils not able to convert on his two match points. The double faults came in numbers, and Mpetshi Perricard has half the deficit. So, fourth set. Somehow, Mpetshi Perricard is still in this.
Out.
Love 15.
What happened there? Was it emotional? Was it? Did he lose his concentration? Did he?
I just think he rushed. I mean, if you thought that way through, it was just ball in the court.
Yeah.
Virtually at any speed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
15 all.
you're winning the baseline rallies.
Yeah.
You can feel that.
Fault. Fault.
15, 13.
Then again, I just don't understand what he's finding difficult about serving at this end. But sometimes, as I said, he can get a little rushed. What he doesn't want to do, I'm sure it's on his mind right now, but needs to push that aside and actually take care of business and get this first game underway, and then just breathe a little.
Ah! 30 all.
Fancy that.
And if you're Mpetshi Perricard, you've got to hit the ball in, don't you?
Yeah.
you can't miss here. You can't give away free points at your end. You've got to feel like there's a slight dip at the other end of the court.
Absolutely.
$40-30.
How much of a deterrent that sort of point can be as well, because you sort of felt like he had to come in there, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he's just been stung again by a ball on his toes that he couldn't deal with. Didn't have the feel there, disappointingly, from his perspective.
Gael Monfils.
You have to say, that was half a chance, wasn't it, that game?
New balls, please. Ball change. First game, full sets.
And that was an important hold for Gael. He needed to stay ahead of the count. Balls are getting older, not getting a lot of value out of them. So for him to hold there was really important.
It's the Dunlop balls that we're using here this week. There's so much talk about the tennis balls over the last couple of years, how they're fluffing up a bit more, causing a few more injuries. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't
Players
know.
are telling us. What do you think, Rash? Not buying that?
Well, it's the same commentary. Isn't it? Every, you know,
it is. For decades as well, really.
It has been. For, you know, everyone goes and they can't remember what the others look. You know, last year they different than last year. They fluff up a little bit more. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty. They're about the same, I feel.
Yeah.
That shot's on all day long. That's
Love 15.
because Mpetshi Perricard closes right in on the net. Does not look after the real estate above him.
Out.
15 all.
And of course, Zverev came out with that, rather unusual, but he came out with that theory that the balls, of course, had changed since COVID, didn't he? During the tour finals, I think he said last year. He felt that the quality of the board changed.
Fault.
I can't remember what his exact quote was, but I'll try and find it. And here we are. That's nice. Yeah, he said, this is what he said, the reason, because of COVID, companies try to cut costs. They're using a different rubber, he said now. Different material for the tennis balls. They're between 30 and 60% slower on average compared to what it was before COVID. That's what Zverev said.
30 to 60% slower.
That was his actual quote. Yeah,
That would
not consistent anymore as well.
I like it when some
First
players just throw
service.
things out there. You know, no backing up, but 60% slower is interesting. Could you imagine ball's not even travelling?
Well, that was what Sasha thought anyway.
If you're serving it at 200 and it's going 100.
Out.
30 all.
I'm guessing that quote was after a loss.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think there's always discussion, isn't it? It's almost like you need to record yourself when you first come to a new tournament again.
Yep.
Record what you're thinking of the balls, and then
Out.
30, 40.
He was in a bit of trouble there, but it's a good strike.
Juice.
It looks like he's protecting his backhand a bit more, isn't he? He's getting a few more forehands into play at the moment.
yeah, I think you're right. He's trying to get around and probably be a little bit more aggressive. And if I'm Gael, I've got to, I need to change a little bit of the way I'm going about things as well, because it's almost like he's feeding him the ball that gets him into a groove. Same ball, hasn't got a lot of pace on it, getting him into a bit of a hitting groove where I just think, he's got to up his speeds and start controlling the game and making things happen a little bit more. Don't have to take high risks, but he could be hitting a lot firmer than this.
Gael Mpetshi
Come back very
Perricard.
often when he's hitting it that close to the lines. His ace count today, we mentioned his average was 19, didn't we, for a match? He's at 14 right now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Gael continues to adopt this softball mentality. We haven't really seen one, when he gets around and really lets loose on that forehand.
Yeah.
Yeah, just on point.
15 love.
Good timing.
And when he gets around his backhand and he actually really hits that aggressive, flighted, bouncing ball with his forehand, we haven't seen any of that.
Out.
30 love.
Couple of good
40
ones.
love.
What a whip the wrist through that one, didn't he? Good racket head speed. Frustration maybe. That's a very good game. Re-establishing himself. 2-1 we are, fourth set.
Time.
Beautiful conditions here on day 3. Intriguing period in this match. Monfils having 2 match points in the tiebreak in the third at 6-4.
Last 15.
That's a beautiful ball down the line.
All.
I guess that goes along another high lob there. Gael understanding that Mpetshi Perricard has missed a few. It goes along with the way he's served today. Served 62%, first serves have landed, and he's had some obviously big success of winning those first service points. Better control point from Monfils. Gives him a couple of break points here. Maybe the second time we've seen that happen, where the second serve's been so accurate on a big point, and that was an extremely big point.
It's a couple of really big bombs on the big man. Still remember, only lost serve once. Worth remembering that.
Advantage, Mpetshi Perricard.
2.5 hours in here.
And that's the difficulty in playing him, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That you feel like you're creating opportunities and they're there and you're close.
Ripper that was.
Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
Because it feels like, as you say, he's been second best by quite a way in this match, really, in the big picture, and yet he's not that far away still.
Yeah, absolutely. And even then, that game to 15-40 to get the 2 break points, Gael took a more positive, proactive way of playing the points. But it's his best hitting so far in the match for Mpetshi Perricard. There's still those big misses, but in general, he's tightened up his baseline game. As you said, he's looking, a good pickup. He's looking for his forehand a little bit more. He is chipping his backhand a few more times to keep the ball alive.
Yeah. I think one of the things, Rush, I don't know if you agree, that for me at the moment sort of distances him from some of the other big guys. I don't think he's as good a mover as some of these bigger guys are.
No.
And obviously, we have set the bar pretty high in this sport for movement. But I think of someone like Rod Laver Arena at 7 foot who moves incredibly well, really. This guy, at the moment, doesn't defend anywhere near as well as some of those guys.
Fault.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, he's not quite the athlete, is he?
No.
And he may develop into that.
Fault.
15-30.
So he doesn't, you know, you can get him out into the full stretch in the extremities of the court, but you don't feel like he's got much to come back with from there.
No. Not a chance here, though. 15-30.
Out.
30 all.
That's where I feel like that ball needs to be sliced back.
Especially from that wider position,
Yeah,
right?
just keep the ball in play and just...
Oh, that is brilliant. This man was favourite, all ends up as the hit the first volley.
It's hard in mouth stuff
40,
if you're the
30.
Monfils camp here, because just look at this. This is big time defence. Not many can defend it and play the shot that he did as well. One thing's to get your racket on it, but then to be able to play that shot there.
First time we've seen him physically feel it, it felt there.
Fault.
Doubled over at the towel. That's the result.
Juice.
How many doubles is he at now? 13 doubles now.
But what gets me with all that part is that why go for that type of serve? Because your opponent's not... He's not generating those long extended rallies full time.
Let the serve.
You know, Mpetshi Perricard could just return it and hit it 3 feet long.
Yes.
Advantage, Monfils. Juice.
That was some point. I think it was the chip at the end of the rally there. Let alone the lob, and again, Monfils looks as though he's physically in a bit of trouble here.
Well, that was a great touch from the lob, wasn't it? And then here, Gael you have no alternative here. You've got to go through your legs. You hit it in a great spot. And this chip is what you're talking about. Look at the depth on that ball. Not sure it was meant, but you take it.
Yeah. Still trying to find a way out of this game.
Gael's breathing a little. He's breathing pretty hard at the
Monfils.
moment, but he can do that. Now, they're not unusual scenes that we're seeing from him.
Gael Monfils.
He'll certainly be relieved to be able to sit down and give himself 60 seconds of rest here.
Monfils leads
like he
3
needs it.
games to 2. Time.
French derby here on court number 3, and it's been a good one. Monfils having squandered 2 match points in the 3rd set breaker. And does he seem to be feeling it physically, or are we reading a bit too much into that?
Well, I mean, it's 2 hours 34. You've had a big week last week. You come out. Is he going to push when the push is needed? Hunt that ball down? He is.
Out.
15 love.
I mean, I think through a 5-set match, you do have your moments. There's no doubt about that. Every athlete, regardless of what they look like externally, there's some moments where they'll have a patch that they got to work and fight through.
Fault.
And I'd imagine, Rash, a lot of that's related to the scoreline as well, right?
Yeah, it can be related to the scoreline, but some you can visibly see it. You know, with Gael, he shows you a little bit.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden he could race down and just hunt down, 3 extreme retreats. But the players will all talk about, if they go through and play 5-set matches, the ones that are consistently playing a bunch of 5-set matches, how, you are dealing with your own, some slight shifts in your energy levels.
Out.
But your job's to try and manage it and not actually panic through that time, and actually, and if you can manage it so there's no harm to the scoreboard, you'll find your 2nd or your 3rd wind.
Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
Comfortable game. Monfils first played the Australian Open in 2005, remarkably. He got a wild card that year. Beat Robbie Ginepri here back then in his first ever match. Lost to Ollie Rockus in the 2nd round. Has been coming back pretty much ever since. It was last year, lost to Echeverry on this court. I remember it. Straight sets.
So didn't quite fire a shot that night. I think it was twilight going tonight.
Love 15.
Yeah, it's a poor miss.
And I guess 12 months on in a strange sort of scenario here, even though he's a year older, it feels like he's got more in the tank a year on. Would you agree? Than more matches under his belt in the last few months?
Absolutely.
Played a lot of tennis last
15
year.
all.
Monfils, if you look at the total number of matches that he played last season, it was 50 matches on the year. Been a while since he played that many.
Yeah, it's a good number.
That is a good hit.
15-30.
And as I said, I just feel like, playing at this speed has allowed Mpetshi Perricard to play into a little bit of hitting form.
Out. 30 all.
That's a better type of point, especially the first delivery from Monfils, where he aggressively hit the ball, so he made Mpetshi Perricard use his big key muscles with some power.
Gael
The
Monfils.
21-year-old is still to get a look at a break point. 2 hours and 40 minutes into this one. Monfils up 4-3 and 2-1.
Time.
Great to have this guy still around in the sport and still achieving some great things as well. Title in Auckland that Rash was talking about. Number 13 of his career. Won a lot on French soil, isn't he?
Yeah, and a passion for the game still. You know, talking to him before the tournament, you know, he's talking about how, you know, passionate he is for this year ahead. Obviously, it's easier when you just come in with a title, but yeah, he's a lover of the game now. Wasn't necessarily a lover of the game when he was younger.
So what changed that then, do you think?
I just think
15 love.
you know, there were different at times. You know, people are playing the game for different reasons. You know, early in their careers, I think. You know, I think there was
30
Gael,
love.
was, you know, he was a good athlete, he was a good tennis player, and he just played along. And then, you know, there's also, you know, there was family security attached to it as well, and you know, there's all those sort of things. Everyone, you got to look at everyone's background. And the people he's been able to help now around his family.
40 love.
That was a big thing for him.
Family man himself, of course. His young daughter, I believe, is back in Europe, isn't
Yes.
she? Sky. Can't be easy, can it either?
No, with both parents here. I'm sure Sky's having fun, by the way.
Gael Mpetshi Perricard. 4 games all.
The mum's in the house as well. Of course, Elina Svitolina, who's been courtside here throughout the course of this match.
So this is what you do, you know, you're the supporting interest, and obviously, you know, you're sitting out there, you're 2 hours and 43 minutes in. She's probably due to play tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
So it's a long time, isn't it?
It is.
Sitting there when you've also got your match.
Fault.
It's not a normal prep.
Knows that serve's going there. Monfils only hits the second serve out
15
wide.
love.
Still not made good contact on it. That's disappointing.
Yeah, it's just a sliding serve. You know, so he's just going to slide the serve
He's
around.
dealt with.
Fault.
wind came into play in that rally as well, particularly at the end of it.
Wasn't it interesting? It was almost like the better Monfils hit the ball,
30 love.
the more comfortable it was for Mpetshi Perricard because the ball was coming onto his racket nicely.
Yeah.
This one here, he needed to try and just got his feet tangled up as well there. Not the most, you wouldn't say he's the most natural mover, would you?
Definitely not.
40 love.
Fascinating actually to see how much he can improve that and who they have around him to try and improve that.
Well, you would think there's a lot of upside, really, at this age, you know, but you would want to invest in that.
Fault.
Gael Monfils.
Moving a whole lot there, Monfils, but it's good enough, and he's on the brink of victory
Monfils
once
leads
again.
5 games to 4.
He needs a break to reach round 2.
Time.
This one will play either Danny Altmaier or Francisco Comasano. And, Argentina are up 5-1 in the first over there. Monfils taking his time to re-emerge.
Fault.
15 love.
And that was his biggest second serve for the match. 221 kilometres an hour.
Far away. Was it the right shot though?
No doubt about that, but yeah, it's tricky when
15
Gael's
all.
giving you no pace and he's just hitting balls, you know, that it sort of challenges you, doesn't it? Because it's not regular.
Yeah.
It's not what you're generally doing. You're not doing it on the practice court.
And I think because he's not giving him any pace, for me, it's allowing him to hit more forehands, isn't it?
30,
Yeah.
15.
Not getting into the backhand Monfils as much as he was because he's not producing as much pace.
Out.
40-15.
Serve numbers have gone up, haven't they? First serve numbers in this set. He's serving at almost 75% of first serves. And Mpetshi Perricard.
Game of Mpetshi Perricard. New balls, please. Ball change. 5 games all.
Both men meandering really across towards their respective corners. The Frenchman and the younger Frenchman will get a new stick out here with the new balls coming into play. 10 minutes shy of 3 hours. These two have been dueling.
Love 15.
Definitely hitting a few more balls back. Mpetshi Perricard.
Visualised that well, didn't he?
Yeah, it hasn't been just the 3 points that were flying off his racket.
15 all.
You know, those big misses we saw over and over. Still not winning a lot of first points on the return
Lad.
serve, though.
On the
Do
serve.
what up? Could only be 15 or 16% off.
He's won 23 return points in the, excuse me, he's won
Out.
15,
a
30.
quick bit of maths on that front.
30. No, 20.
Mid-20s, I think, but of course those, if you look at double faults, there's been 13 of them.
That's right.
So actually when ball's in play, by my maths, he's only won about 12 points.
Fault. Out.
It's a bold second delivery.
30 all.
And if you haven't worked out that Gael likes to slide in serve, at this period of the match, there's your tennis IQ's not in the right spot.
$40, 30.
Took a bit of pace off that serve, and that didn't really give him a lot to work with on the chip, did it? It was, again, a disappointing return, though. Such a big point. Opportunity was there for Mpetshi Perricard, but he is unable to take it. We are a game away
Monfils.
from yet another tiebreak here.
Monfils leads 6 games to 5. Time.
Which direction is this match heading in? Crucial point in this fourth set coming up right here yet again. Monfils' camp up out of their seats. He's at their end again. They're doing their bit to get this man over the line.
Fault.
$15 love.
Interesting time with the shadow just coming across the court as well. So if you're serving on that first court, you'd like to use it a bit. You'd like to use that wide serve so you're coming from the sun into the shadow, into the shade.
He's lost a bit of effectiveness off the return, isn't he?
Yep.
Not much depth on the ball. Sets 2 and 3, he was getting the ball deep, he was getting into the rally.
Not finding the middle of the racket as often.
Out.
40 love.
There was definitely a period through that second and third set where you felt like every ball was coming back off the middle of the strings, or not everyone, but you know, the majority if he had his racket on it. We've got a little bit of a different look here.
Gael Mpetshi Perricard.
And I think that's due to Mpetshi Perricard being played into a
6
little bit
games
of form.
all-timer.
He got his tank got filled up a little bit after holding off those. Well, he didn't. Did he hold off those 2 match points? Gael, he gave him one.
Yeah,
didn't he? With a couple of double faults, 3 double faults in the tie break. How does this one play out? Or it's a bit of guesswork, isn't it?
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah, victory has been snatched from the jaws of defeat in both tie breaks from respective players, isn't it?
Fault.
Oh, it's dropped in.
Well, this was Mpetshi Perricard in a really favourable position for Gael to be able to get that to drop in with small margins. Big opening point.
To the tournament so far. Extraordinary stuff.
Take a look at the skills here. That was the first one, and then this. Only Gael would have been able to get back and play that shot. The volley kept Monfils alive, didn't it? And almost. That was worth waiting 2 hours and 57 minutes for.
How good was the defence as well early in the rally from Mpetshi Perricard? We've been sort of questioning that a little bit, but it was quite brilliant from this young man. Let's not forget, an hour ago was staring 2 match points in the face.
And that was a quick point straight after, so Gael will still be getting his breath here. Needs to find his first serve, you would think. Important delivery here.
Fault. Fault.
3-1.
Is that a consequence of a couple of points ago, or?
I feel like it is. That was. That's why I said the importance of landing that first ball. Needed to make sure it was a ball that, even if it was 3/4 pace, it needed to land. Let off the hook. Mpetshi Perricard, that had to be put in play any way possible. Needed to engage Monfils in that, in a rally there.
Yeah, and the forehand, because it's now got more sting to it, is allowing him to get in tighter, isn't it? It's not giving Monfils as much time on the ball to make the pass.
And he's been able to volley quite smartly too. He's playing this volley that is played into the around half court. So it doesn't get all the way to the person tracking the baseline.
Yeah, it just gives him the longest possible run, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Effectively. 13th set. And Mpetshi Perricard has played this season, and this is the 9th tiebreak in those 13 that he has played. He's in the ascendancy.
That was a poor choice from Mpetshi Perricard. He may have thought he could have finished it with that one blow, but to take yourself completely out of the court here, have a look at this.
4-3.
And no awareness, no spatial
Mpetshi
awareness
Perricard.
of where Gael Monfils was, because Monfils had already gone. There was a big hole through the middle of the court and on the forehand side.
Some steal that was.
Yeah. So let's see if Gael uses the wide serve here, which does affect the returner now.
Fault.
That's brilliant. And almost the first time we've seen him employ that play.
Yep, that was, you could see there was a real
5-4,
urgency around what he was going to do here. Hit the ball, come in and challenge Monfils, and he was ready this time. He was ready for a lob to go over his head. He didn't commit fully to the net.
Fault.
Wow. It's an extraordinary point. I mean, for Monfils to just be able to creatively somehow get the ball back into play, that first chip forehand that he had to defend. But then it was about just seeing if the miss will, there'll be an unforced error.
Mpetshi Perricard.
Untouchable, that delivery, no matter who you are. It's number 17 of Mpetshi Perricard's afternoon. And he is now just a point away from taking this one the distance. What a hit from the 21-year-old.
Mpetshi Perricard.
And the all-French affair is going to go the distance. We're heading to a fifth.
To normal.
Who's the favourite here for your money right now, given what you've seen?
You know, funnily, I still lean Gael. Just, I know there's something in there. But it's definitely changed, because there's definitely a more calm version of Mpetshi Perricard at the other end of the court. I think his tennis, you know, identity's a little different. If he somehow gets that confidence on his serve, where he can race through some service games. Where are you sitting?
Listen, we sat here 24 hours ago and watched Francis Tiafoe look like he couldn't walk, and he still was able to win in the 5th. So
yeah, that's where you're sitting, exactly.
Yeah.
On the fence.
I'm British. Okay, you know me. We're pretty neutral. We don't make too many big, bold statements.
I guess I need to sit a little bit with my allegiance, don't I?
Absolutely. We'll let you do that.
Fault.
30 all.
You know, how much juice does it take to get back to 2 sets all? And we see that over and over again as well. Someone comes back from 2 sets to love, squares it up to 2 sets all, and just that journey in itself becomes, you know, has been so much. You sit down and there's such this relief, but sometimes it can actually take a little bit of air out of the tyres as well. And right now, here's a break point.
30-40.
Rolling the dice on the second is something he's accustomed to. It's an 8th double. And this would be a significant early lift for this man. Gets it. Can you believe that? Both men looking over towards their respective corners. And Mpetshi Perricard has been broken for just the 2nd time. Donation, that really.
That was a donation, but that's what could happen. You know, the start of the 5th, you come out. There's been a bit of a change. You know, you have an extended break, and as I said, you sit down and you go, whew, I'm back, I'm in it, I've got a chance now.
Thought the ball on the baseline was long. Or was he just having a word with Pascal Maria in the corner? Pascal, one of the supervisors here this year.
Gives you a chance, Gael. Just to get it's gonna be fun to keep the ball alive. You know, right here, this one here. I mean,
Fault.
30-50.
15th double fault.
Certainly the side you want to see him pass you off, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not nearly as comfortable off that wing as we have got to know. Sensible approach.
and that is a difference. That's the separator when it really counts. That's a standard hit for Gael. Yes, it's a big hit, but he can do that and confidently repeat that. So that's why I think going into a fifth set there's a bit of separation.
Yeah, when we look at the rally breakdown, there's actually been quite a big shift in those longer rallies because Monfils was well ahead in those numbers, but actually the rallies between 5 and 8 are now dead even. And there's not much of a gap in the rallies over 9 either, so that has changed as this match has progressed.
Fault.
Not that there have been that many of them. Truth.
Out.
30 love.
And everybody's different managing a 5-set match, you know, where they'll decide on what they're going to choose to get after, what service games they'll choose to get after. Depending on the scoreline. Gael's now a set, he's got a break in hand. He'll probably try and manage a little bit of the service games of Mpetshi Perricard if he can.
Clean into the game, and a love hold is a master of those. He's on the board in set 5.
Time.
Nick Lester alongside Roger Rashid here on court 3, enjoying this one. Of course, Roger spent many years in this man's corner, guiding the ship. What's your favourite story you got that you can share with us, Roger, if you can pick one out from all those years?
Yeah, he's actually like son to me, Gael. So one of them, I remember when he first came to the first pre-season, landed in the morning. It was going to be 38 degrees in Adelaide. I said, it's already about 33. We'll hit later on in the evening. He said, and he said, I think he wanted to just stick his chest out and say, oh, you know, you Aussie guys are tough. I'll stick it out there. So he said, no, let's drop the bags to the hotel and we're going to train now, Roger. And I said, oh, you're my man. I like it. 3 hours later, there he was. Didn't want the sunscreen.
Fault.
You know, some cool things there. One particular match against Stanislas Wawrinka in Tokyo. You know, he was getting beaten well and truly. He said, what do I do, Roger? I said, oh, why don't you try something different? The court's fast. Why don't you start serve volleying? You know, mix a few serve. So he almost went into full serve volley mode, first and second serves.
Did he win the match?
Turned the match around and won. You know, he's actually an incredible person, you know, in a whole lot of ways.
Yeah.
On and off the court.
Pretty much enemy-less, right?
Yes.
I'm sure there's plenty of stories you can't share with us as well. I'll turn the mics off, you tell me later, okay?
Out.
Bit of trouble here.
That was the better serve. That was the type of serve he needed on a match point a while ago now. Just a steady 170 kilometres an hour. And again, did well to manage that little scenario at 30 all.
Just checked actually in the 38 5-set matches that Monfils has played. There's not been one of those where he hasn't faced a break point, but that's still the case here, remarkably. More 3 points, isn't he?
Yeah,
take that opening game away, but in general, the last hour.
Different version. There's no doubt about that.
Fault.
He was there behind it, but unable to fashion a response. It's back-to-back love holds for the 21-year-old. It closes the gap again in the fifth.
Time.
Early break achieved. And he'll hope that's enough if he can just see this through. Still some work to be done though.
And it's all about the early points, isn't it, on serve? You look after the first couple of points, just stay ahead of the count. Like he's done here, and you can almost pencil in the surface hold. Is that the curse of the commentator?
Yeah, the odds of holding from 30 love are certainly substantial.
They are, aren't they?
Looking at that the other day. Yeah, in the men's game on a hard court, some data done about the US Open recently, it was a 95% chance of holding from 30 love. It will vary depending on the server, but probably against Mpetshi Perricard that number goes up even more, given his at times inability on return. Do you see him becoming a better returner, Rush? What are the issues for him on returner in particular?
Mpetshi Perricard?
Yeah.
I just think you've got to decide how you're going to have to design the way you want to get involved in the opponent's returning games. And I don't think for mine, it's a couple of things. Chipping the ball back keeps you alive. And so I think you've got to have there's got to be a percentage of that, and you've got to decide what that percentage is going to be. Is it like someone like Stan, who actually ended up being a high percentage, didn't it, of balls that he chipped back? Stan Wawrinka, forehand and backhand. So I would adopt more of that for him. His issue is his movement. Because chipping it back means your opponent's got time on the ball.
Definitely.
And so then it's about your movement.
Yes.
And at the moment his movement doesn't cut it, but still I would be adopting a position that I want more balls in play.
Yes.
I need to create a little fear up the other end.
Yeah, you chip the ball back against someone like Sinner and Alcaraz, you better get your running shoes on, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's the best chip. It's a very effective chip.
Yep.
Finding that balance, isn't it, for him moving forwards.
And you know, Gael does you watch that return there, he's got an abbreviated return off his forehand side. It's not a chip, but he can abbreviate. So even something like that for Mpetshi Perricard would work in my books.
Yeah, only breaking 10% of the time so far in his career. He needs significant improvement, and now that return has put him on the back foot here.
And the last time Gael won a 5-set match at the AO was 2015.
Wow. Who was that against?
40-30.
Okay, now I remember the year.
Luca Poi. Just double checked.
Countryman.
That's right.
Well, you won't see that often, will you? That's as big a miss that I think you'll see in his career on a second serve.
Look down from above on this wonderful stage. Full house on 3. Has been all day.
Oh, looks like a bit of cramps set in a little bit for Mpetshi Perricard. Pulled up awkwardly on that after that serve. And he shook his hand after that serve as well, so there's maybe a little bit of body cramp turning up.
Out.
Yeah,
Will you get the trainer out? Because cramp is not something you're allowed treatment for, is it? So that's another little wrinkle in this match. 4-3, final set.
Time.
Been a number of five-setters today. This is actually the fifth one already today on the men's draw.
Fault.
Being competitive.
And it's interesting with Gael because, you know, you could play the points a lot shorter as well, because he's got plenty of time on the ball. He's got time to actually be that aggressor. And he almost needs to take a clay court philosophy. So when he plays on a clay court, you'll see him really moving the ball around the court. He'll flight it, he'll put it into areas of the court, and really, you know, he's got safety around it. I'd be playing that type of style here. I'm not after him to just penetrate through the court and play low-risk tennis, but have a purpose with his ball striking a little bit.
Again, you have to slightly question why Mpetshi Perricard's leaning for that one, because that's been the serve all day.
Yeah.
The wide serve, the second serve on the deuce, and yet he's still not really picked it up. Forceful hit from a wide position.
14-15.
Very properly up the other end, Mpetshi Perricard.
Somebody was alive to it.
Yeah, and then pulls up immediately once the ball looked like it was floating out. This is the beauty of the five-set battle, right?
Absolutely.
3 hours, 33 minutes. It's not the longest five-set battle. Didn't move well out there, Gael. Got caught.
Saw the work on the ball that he gets on that shot, though, didn't we? That forehand bounced. Only half the court's in sun now as well.
That's it. Monfils.
Almost all square on the ace race. Mpetshi Perricard having served 18, Monfils one shy.
Fault.
He's found some better range on that ball, hasn't he? That mid-court ball. It was very unpredictable with that for 2.5 sets, almost 3 sets.
And that's it. Monfils.
Chip not with the control necessary, and Monfils is once again on the doorstep of round 2.
Monfils. Monfils leads 5 games to 3.
Mikael Tillström in the middle with the blue hat. Alina Svitolina, of course, next to him. Long day for her. Emotional one.
Yeah, the emotions of it. You know, you're riding it. You'd rather be out there. You've got some control.
No control attached to that forehand, though, sadly, for the youngster.
So Gael all he was doing there was playing middle of the court tennis and challenging his younger opponent to say, go for it, make a mistake, I'm love 30. And so that was smart. He kept some better depth as well playing through the middle of the court that time.
As that ball sailed long.
He'd like to finish now, wouldn't he? You just don't necessarily want to turn up and serve for the match if you don't have to. Yeah, he's cramping up there. You can see there his legs are really, they're struggling to stay active.
Yeah, there's some pretty clear physical frailties from the man in yellow, who finds himself staring down the barrel here.
And this is an uncomfortable position to be in, isn't it? Where your body's not, you can see there he's really struggling. And once you're in this position, you can't recover it. It's can I survive it? But he's on the wrong end of the scoreboard at the moment.
Huge. He's cut loose. Desperate times, desperate measures, Rash.
Yeah, well, you've got no option. You don't necessarily want to keep the ball in play. It had to be all or nothing, in my opinion. And it's funny because it gives you a bit of it gives you this freedom, doesn't it? It gives you clarity of mind of what you're going to do. The ball's there, I'm hitting. So there's no hesitation. I'm hitting.
Yep. And that was his 23rd forehand winner of the afternoon. May give himself one more chance to break.
And for Gael's just, you know, he's sort of surviving as well in a way, in the way he's actually creating the points. He's hitting back through the middle of the court, so he's actually almost allowing someone to be like the heavyweight boxer, throwing your big heavy haymakers and seeing if you knock yourself out. And for Gael, that's the percentage play in his mind. For some others, it would be, I need to move this guy.
Out. 220 Ks for a second serve. Cutting into his body. Nasty. get one last opportunity to break this man's serve. It really is now or never for Mpetshi Perricard. Been a fun ride, this, isn't it? For almost 4 hours.
Yeah, and there's a lot of theatre attached to it, isn't it? We're
just trying to give him some. What are those things? Those sort of gels or whatever.
Yeah, they're just gels. They're electrolyte gels, carbohydrate gels. You know, and you've got to keep putting those in your system because, you know, maybe he does get the break. Maybe we do go into a 10-point tiebreaker.
Yep.
You know, and maybe that does take another 15 minutes. You never know. There might be a medical in there somewhere from someone, and all of a sudden there's 20 minutes extended, so it comes into play.
Longest matches of Mpetshi Perricard's career, not quite the longest just yet, but he's not far away. Is he going to be able to hold up here? First point you sense crucial.
So if I'm Monfils, if I had a chance, if I was you were coaching, you'd be saying you just want that 3/4 slider every ball on your first delivery here. Nice control of the point. Better ball striking off the forehand side there. It was heavy, so it created a big defensive movement from Mpetshi Perricard, and it was all Gael here. He's in a good position now, isn't he?
Just not been able to make enough inroads on return. Once more. And Monfils returns to match point.
It's been quite interesting, isn't it? I mean, it's to watch because he hasn't been prepared to let his forehand out all match. That explosive ball that he has, I thought that was a moment.
It's experience ultimately that holds sway over 5 sets in the French derby.